Day 2 of Cedar Point, and our phone is on top of the car, which is why I look really short right now.
Yeah. So
Day 2 was quite the adventure.
So day 2, we had to first try to see if we could get our taillight fixed this morning. So we had to go by the Firestone place to see where it was located at and call them. So we got an appointment set up at 2 p.m.
Which meant we had to leave the park.
Wanted it obviously to be at like 7 a.m. so it didn't interfere with any of our park time, but yeah, so we got it set up at 2 p.m. so at least we were able to still get it done, so we don't like get a ticket or something or get pulled over by the cops more and more on our trip. But anyways, we were able to get to the park on time today, which was good. We were probably like the 6th or 7th car in our row, so and then after that, like all the rows got really full of cars, and so luckily we were like 6th or 7th in line to get into the park. And today was very, very, very crowded. And then when we
ran,
so we got into the park, we had to go through security. Kate and I did our usual thing where I stand in one line and she stands in one line, and we see which one goes fastest, because
my line was fastest today.
You have to be super fast, or just get it. We want to be not waste any time, and that's mainly from learning from our Disney experiences of trying to get on the Avatar ride, which is crazy, and like Black Friday shopping, if I had to compare it to something. So yeah, we got in the park, and then we
sprinted.
We got to follow this little boy that was sprinting ahead of us. Like, I didn't want to, like, I could have obviously been faster than the little boy, but I wasn't like,
James didn't get too competitive with the 9-year-old.
Trying to show off to a 9-year-old. So we just kind of...
He only does it at school.
Yeah, if there's something to... If I know the kid and there's something to gain from it.
We ran with his little brother who chatted with us.
I usually have lots of kids in my class whenever I'm teaching that like are like super surprised by how fast I am, and they're like, oh my gosh, we didn't know you could beat me. And so I always like, once they see how fast I am, they think I'm like a superstar or something, which is no.
So we ran all the way to Steel Vengeance, and we got in line by like 8:45.
We were probably like 50th in line or something, because they have a special entrance where the hotel people can get into the park.
So they got in front of us.
So they got into this, like, it like lets them like get half advantage basically. They get in like where the top, like a little bit past the top thrill dragster, which is like halfway past the entrance, and so they had like a good probably 1.5 mile lead on us too. Not 1.5 miles, but at least a mile probably, right?
Sure.
Or
Anyways,
2 laps, I don't know. Whatever.
It's okay.
Maybe 3/4 of a mile.
We got in line, and they like started testing it at like 9 o'clock, and then turns out the ride, well, they tested it, and then they came out and said that there was mechanical failure, mechanical issues.
We were very excited because
we were going to be like one of the first ones on.
Well, and we were supposed to get, since we have this like platinum pass or something, you get like an extra hour of ride time in the morning. So we were excited.
The Gold Pass people get that too now.
We were excited to be able to have extra time from 9 to 10.
We were going to go from there and to the Maverick, and we had plenty of time to do that, or do it twice.
They let us in about 8:40, and we got to the ride about probably 8:50-ish or so, and so we got to cool down and wait for like 7 minutes. They were going to start letting people in right at 9 o'clock, and then they're like, we're just trying to test the track, or test the ride out more.
They started testing it at 9 o'clock.
And then once it got like close to 10 o'clock, they're like, oh, we have mechanical issues or a delay. And so a lot of people left at that time, because we've been waiting there for like 45 minutes or an hour already. And then they closed the ride off until about
10:30?
Yeah, probably about 10:30 or maybe 10:40.
And we had been in that line since 8:50, so much for this whole like, and the line was like 2 hours long by that time too.
So we got on the ride, and
finally up in
eventually,
it, 10:40.
And it was really fun. We got we got like the 3rd back row, because the dude wouldn't let me get in the back row.
Or they're sometimes picky about like letting you pick your row, because there's so many people in line, and so they don't like it when people ask to wait.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of effort for us just to wait one group behind someone else. But anyways,
we're not gonna complain.
We got close to the back row, I guess. We were like the 3rd to the back row, which is not what I asked for, but oh well.
There's a sign that says you may not get the car you want.
And we obviously had to use our special little key code and all that kind of stuff, where you had to pick a special symbol for putting in put in our phones, and all our fun little gadgets, our a million things that Kate brings with her to the park, like our phone charger and all this kind of stuff, which is helpful.
You're not allowed to wear your fanny pack on the ride.
So yeah, we had to pick some special symbols. I think I picked a chess piece, and I don't remember the second one. They have unique symbols, but yesterday was a treat. Anyways, then we decided to we decided to do the ride twice, and so the second time we had to wait probably an hour and a half, if I had to guess. I don't know. So we waited again an hour and a half. Kate got to talk to somebody about Bonnaroo. So
yeah, there was a Bonnaroo person in line. That was cool. I had my Bonnaroo wristband on, and so
apparently this person also worked for the company that puts on a bunch of the different shows like Bonnaroo and Forecastle and I don't know, different ones that he mentioned. So that was kind of cool. Then we, like I said, we got to go on the ride. This time we did get to go in the back row, so
Yay.
redemption. The guy the worker, I asked him right before if we can wait for the back row, and then he forgot. And he's like, oh, 6th row or 5th row. And I'm like, no, I want the back row. So
and he
luckily,
was like, oh yeah, go.
Yeah, so luckily he was nice and kind. And so we did that one. And then right after we
ran to the Maverick.
Well, I went to the restroom while we were waiting when there was technical delays, but Kate was paranoid that she was gonna miss the ride, so she didn't use the restroom. So
I went to the bathroom while he got the lock.
And then
the locker.
We
went to the Maverick.
Ended up doing the Maverick. The Maverick was actually closed. They were testing it, and so it closed or broke down, and so we again got to get into the line when it wasn't quite as long. It was still probably close to an hour, probably 45 minutes. So we really like that ride too. It's just like we talked about yesterday. It's really quick, really fast, has lots of little twists and turns, and it's probably my second favorite ride besides Steel Vengeance. So I really like it. So we got to do that once. We only got to do that once today, so that was a bummer. We might tomorrow decide to do
that in the morning,
to do the Maverick at the very beginning, and then maybe do Steel Vengeance afterwards. And those two rides are the very end of the park, so you have to
all the way to the end.
Go I don't know, a mile.
We ran total today. We went 8 miles, at least. So.
Yeah, which is not as much as we've done. Sometimes it's 12 miles or something. But the park's also not open super late. It's only open until 8 p.m. So
normally we're here until 11.
So we get 11 hours, which some of the time we get 13 or 14 hours in the park. So anyways, we did the Maverick, and then after we did the Maverick, we had to try to go to Panda Express, if I remember right.
Yeah.
We had to, because it was almost 2 o'clock by that time, because we had to wait so long for trying to get on Steel Vengeance. Yeah, it was very close to 2 o'clock. We went to try to get our food at Panda Express so we could kind of eat while we were getting the car fixed or whatever, taken care of.
And then they said they didn't take meal dining passes.
They're like, no, we can't take meal dining passes right now. And we paid quite a bit of money for this little dining pass. But Panda Express
decided that during the rush hour they didn't want to take the pass, so we did not get it at that time. So we ran to the car because we were already running late. We got to the Firestone at 2:02, and we were supposed to be there at 2.
So if you decide to get the little dining pass thing, you have to wait 4 hours between 2 meals. So we weren't sure if we were going to be able to get back to the park to get both meals. And so I was kind of annoyed and frustrated because obviously Panda Express is one of the choices that you can get, and it's probably, we think it's the best value for your money, and we also like Chinese food a lot. So anyways, or Panda Express a lot. So anyways, that was a failure at first, and then we had to rush to go. Well, we had to rush to get to our appointment at 2 p.m. and we were a little bit late. And then when we were leaving the park, there was a ton of people getting into the park.
There was a wreck.
And it was right at 2 p.m. and there was a ton of people. It looked like the park had just opened. And then coming into the park, it was a big traffic jam, kind of what it looks like here.
I think it was a car wreck.
And so then we were kind of worried about how long is it going to take us to get back into the park and all that kind of stuff. So that was kind of crazy.
But we made it.
We made it to Firestone to get our car fixed, and the guys were really chill there, and it was really easy. It took them about 15 minutes. It took them a while to pop the taillight out and get the new bulb in, since we had a taillight out. But they were really kind, and then we weren't sure, like we said, if we were going to be waiting for like 30 minutes to get in the park. So we stopped at Arby's, and we weren't sure if we are gonna be able to use our card. And so Kate got an Arby's sandwich, and then was kind of full. And then when we got back into the park, it was actually pretty easy to get back in. We actually had to get this little rain check type thing, this little receipt, and then they took a picture of us. So if you ever have to leave the park early, that's what they do. They used to do these little like stamps that were like Snoopy characters, and a different color or whatever each day. And so we were able to get back to, when we got back, there wasn't really a line, so we got lucky, and it was pretty easy to get back into the park. So yeah, luckily we came at the right time. Didn't come like that 30 minutes before when it was like crazy crowded. Anyways, we got back in, we went to Panda Express, and now they were accepting the dining plan, so we were able to get our food, but Kate was kind of full, and so then I ate kind of a lot and was kind of full.
I still ate like,
and Kate was full too, and I ate a little bit of Kate's sandwich because she was already full from her sandwich, so I felt like I just gouged myself, gorged myself with tons of food.
And then the worker, when we checked out, he had like, someone left their drink pass on the counter, and so the worker gave it to us. And
yeah, so Kate was like the best friend, because she went to, before we went to stand in line for another 20 minutes and then get rejected, she went to the exit of it and like to see if they were accepting a little dining plan, and they said yes. And so then we waited for like our 10 minutes to get our food or whatever, and luckily they allowed us to have the food. So and they gave us pretty big portion size, and we weren't able to eat all of it. And so Kate got a free little pass to get free drinks the rest of the day. I don't know how much the value of it is, probably like 10 or 12 bucks or something, but you can get a drink every 15 minutes basically. So like if you have a ride that takes like 30 minutes or something, you can go get a drink before you get on the ride, and then right after you get off the ride you can go get another drink.
Good luck finding a ride that's only 30-minute wait though.
Yeah, we had one that was about 30 minutes today. That's it.
Anyways.
Well, maybe 2. But anyways, so we eat our food, and when I'm finishing up eating, I try to get up to leave, and there's this little baby bird like right under where I was sitting almost, and I was like, what the heck? It crawled over to him. And it was really sad because it was
dying.
Yeah, towards its last.
It was struggling. It was dying.
Yeah.
It was really sad.
But it was like right behind me, and this little girl was like looking at me, and she's like,
Did it scare you?
Did that scare you? I was like, kind of, like, what?
Yeah, he jumped.
I wasn't expecting to see a little baby bird right where I was sitting.
It had feathers and everything, so it wasn't super
Because all the tables are like filled up, so we kind of sit in this little corner spot in this little like
on the
boardwalk
floor by the grass.
On this little boardwalk thing, and so.
But yeah, the poor little bird was not gonna make it.
I gave it some water or some ice cubes.
We gave it ice cubes to lick,
and
but it was just...
Kate was gonna try to give it some. Well, that was kind of bad, but she's trying to give it some orange chicken, but
I was gonna give it a noodle. It was done.
But it was kind of sad. But anyways, then after that we got in line for the Millennium Force, which is really close to the Panda Express, and that line was very, very long.
It shut down for a minute.
Yeah, it shut down for a little bit.
That was a good like hour and a half of our day.
It was also the kind of the heat of the day. It was kind of warm during that time. We eventually got to go on the ride, but it took probably an hour and a half or 2 hours, which was not cool. But we were able to ride on the back row on that one. And then after we did that ride, we went to go do the Raptor because it looked like it was going to be a little bit shorter.
And it was a really short line when we went to it.
It was not really short, but it was probably 45 minutes or so, or 40 minutes. And so we got Kate's little,
my drink.
Her little drink thing actually worked, so that was cool. So we got a drink, and I got some water and ice and blah, blah, blah. And then we got in line, and we got to do the front row of the Raptor.
And then we were ready to unboard, and the worker came back to us and was like, hey everyone, you have to stay seated for a minute because someone else got sick on the ride again. So they had to like clean up after him, so we just got to hang out in our seats on the unloading dock while waiting for them to clean the train, 2 trains ahead of us.
Yeah, so it was kind of like deja vu.
It was just like yesterday, only
Kate didn't get to witness it.
I didn't have to watch it this time.
We did get to see them clean it up from a distance, kind of.
But luckily, I did not watch it happen this time like I did the other day. So
Kate got to tell the stories to some other people.
Yep.
All throughout the day, I had some people looking at my shirt, and some of the people, like the little kids, are all confused, but
the adults understood it.
The adults like my shirt because it says Wendy Peppercorn. She knows exactly what she's doing. So it's from The Sandlot. It's one of my favorite movies, and she's the lifeguard in The Sandlot, and
Anyways.
Squints gets to have CPR done on him and gives Wendy
kiss.
Peppercorn a hard kiss, and they have 15 kids later on. So
Okay.
yeah, so we have some people. The little kids didn't really understand that reference, but it's one of my favorite movies, and so the people my age were all laughing about it. And Kate apparently doesn't think it's funny either, so she's trying to rush me right now.
Well, I'm just,
But anyways, it's a good movie. It's like it's probably my favorite kid movie.
It's fun seeing the people's reaction when they see it because it makes them smile.
Okay, so then we ride the Raptor, and then after the Raptor, we decide to go look at the Top Thrill Dragster to see how long the wait is, and it's closed. Imagine that. That was kind of our theme for the day. And so we went and decided to do Magnum, which is apparently the first like hyper coaster, kind of like similar to the coaster that's like Steel Vengeance. It was like the first version of that from a long time ago. But it's kind
really
of
rickety.
It's old school. It's really small. It hurts your legs and hurts your legs and other sections of your body.
I
when you're
pushed
going
the
on
bar
ride.
down too far though. Like the bar went all the way down to my waist, like
So,
all the way down. I couldn't
It's
move.
kind of a shorter ride, but it definitely is very bumpy and rickety.
It is.
My neck like went back like this really far, and then you're kind of like, it's like you're.
It's the most jerky steel roller coaster ever.
It's kind of like you're riding like a mechanical bull because you're like bouncing all over the place and hitting your legs, and it's painful. It probably gives you bruises, but at the same time, it's fun.
Last time we did it, we both had bruises all the way across the tops of our legs.
Kate always like laughs at me because
He's in pain.
yeah, I'm like over here like in agony, but it's fun, but at the same time, kind of painful at the same time. So
We also have 30 bucks on us right now. I'll show you guys the bucks
yeah,
afterwards.
so we got to do that. My picture on that one was really funny because I was like kind of in agony or kind of in pain, but it was fun at the same time. And then when we got off of that one, we went back to the Top Thrill Dragster, and they just opened it right before we got there, and so our wait was only about like 20 or 30 minutes, and we got to do that in the front row, which is very cool. Got to see a little boy like start crying and stuff
Scared to do it.
because he was too afraid to ride the ride and that kind of thing. Yeah, so we got to do that. That was really fun. And then after that, I had to run.
It was like 7 o'clock.
I had to run to go to Chick-fil-A to try to get my sandwich because we were both really, really full still.
And
So
we
I
didn't have
like
time for Panda
sprinted
Express.
down there and waited in line at Chick-fil-A for like 30 minutes. I got there at 7:30, and
I ran to the bathroom and then to the Maverick, and the Maverick was already closed. So I called James and told him the Maverick was closed. So then I sprinted to the Millennium Force to hopefully get on that one before they closed it. I made it there by 7:50.
yeah, so I ordered my food at Chick-fil-A at like 7:35, and then or maybe 7:40, and then I was like, oh, I got plenty of time. I'll like get my food by like 7:50, and I can run to the roller coaster. Well, I didn't get my food until like 7:53, and Kate like is calling me in the meantime. She gets getting lost trying to get to the what's the
Millennium Force.
the Millennium Force.
And then I made it, and the lady was like, oh, he has 10 minutes to get here. And then all of a sudden she's like, oh, wait, never mind. He has to be here by 7:55. And if I don't see him running down the sidewalk by the time we're closing at 7:55, then he can't get on. And so I was like calling James, and I was like, hurry, hurry, hurry. And then I like looked down at the distance with like 1 minute. Because he got his food at 7:52.
So I get my food at like, Kate's calling me like every 5 seconds, and then she like, whenever I get my food, there's apparently 3 Jameses, so I like try to get my bag, and this other James is like, no, that's mine, and this other James is like, this is mine. I'm like, I think this is mine. So I like was luckily able to get it, and then I had to sprint because Kate called me right after I got my sandwich and was like, they're gonna lock down or like close off the line, and like if you're not here within 2 minutes. So I had to run all the way from the Chick-fil-A to the Millennium Force, and it
I saw
it's
him
probably
running
like
through the distance.
it's probably like close to a mile, not a mile probably, but probably like 3
Half a
laps
mile.
around a track. So three-fourths of a mile, and so yeah, I had to sprint all the way to get into the ride, and there's probably like 10 people after me, so
But I was
we
like,
did make
hurry, hurry, hurry. I was like, run. And
obviously-
so then I was like, there he is.
And then obviously our goal is to try to get onto the back of that ride.
But then it was stressful too because we had his bag of Chick-fil-A food, so we had to sneak that into my coat, and then we shoved the sandwich into my pocket and zipped it up, and we ate the waffle fries in line, and so we didn't want to have to buy a locker to put his food in, and so.
Yeah, so Kate had to kind of sneak it in her coat, and now I have a smashed Chick-fil-A sandwich, but it's all good. And we were a little bit worried too because the security person was like really like
strict about.
no cups and all this stuff. You gotta throw your cup away and you can't have this, blah, blah, blah. So we luckily snuck by and that kind of thing. And we got to go the second to last row, and we're on the second to last train. And so, yeah, but we were just happy to be able to do the ride. And so, yeah, so it was a fun day. Again, we didn't get to go on a whole lot of roller coaster rides, probably like 8 maybe, which is kind of disappointing. But it was a Saturday, and so the park is definitely busier on Saturday. And then towards the end, we got drinks before we left the park, and yeah, so.
And if you guys want to see the bugs, because there's so many gnats, you have to see how many gnats there are all over the car. One time we rode the roller coasters, and I was in the front with James, and I had these all over my face. I was a human windshield because there are so many of these. They're not really biting. They're just.
We both have them just splatter in our eyes.
I don't know what they're doing. Anyways, so
you can kind of see the coasters behind us. There's
you can
like
see it.
A big long line of cars just everywhere. It looks like Hoosiers, where everyone's trying to follow the bus out of going to the game. And
Here
it
it
looks it's just like car after car after car after car.
So
And then the noise outside the park. After the roller coasters is just car alarms going off everywhere. So you can hear car alarms going off everywhere. So, yeah.
Anyways, so day 2 of Cedar Point was a success, even though we only got like 8 rides. Hopefully, day 3 we can stay at the park the whole day, no leaving for any reason, and stay from 9 to or 8:30 or 9 to 8, and see if we can beat our record now of 8 roller coasters in one day. So. Fun day.
Yeah, we got our car fixed, so that's definitely good. So hopefully we don't get pulled over by more cops. And yeah, so hopefully we can again make it to the park early and hopefully get on a ride that doesn't break down so we can actually start riding rides whenever the park opens instead of sitting and waiting for an hour and a half.
We'll have to drive an hour from our hotel, but it'll be good. So we'll leave early tomorrow morning to get here at open. So stay tuned for day 3. There's the sunset again because that's a cooler view. Stay tuned for day 3 of Cedar Point. Peace out, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.